What's going on, everybody? It's Zach Mayo here, and today I'm going to be showing you how I create lo-fi drums and what sort of grooves I go for. If you guys do enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out elizabethrecords.net. All the actual drums that I'm going to be using in today's tutorial are actually from my lo-fi drum kits available on my site. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. Now, the melody here is a melody that I created in a previous tutorial about how to make lo-fi melodies. And I already routed that to a mixer track, and let's get started. So the first thing I know is that this is in B major because I made it in B major. And I don't want it to be B major anymore. I want to pitch it down a bit. So we're going to drop it 2 semitones, I believe. And we may also adjust the actual tempo of it at a later date. But we're just going to pitch it down. Now it's an A. And let's get started on some drums. So the first thing that I like to do is put in my snare or my snap or my clap. And I always try to pick something that doesn't have a lot of high end because I don't want the snare to be very clashy or in your face. And then I like to create some more variation by having like a hit that's different on the snares. If that makes sense. Like if you see like this one and this one, it just creates a little bit more of a groove. And I'm going to do this double hit on this one, but just lower the velocities of these. And that already just makes the kick and snare pattern a little bit more complicated, which to me, I like because a lot of lo-fi music is kept simple. But just being a fan of production, I like always doing little different secrets here and there just to kind of spice it up a bit, you know? Now we got to get the kicks down. Now the secret is don't overdo it with your groove. Like you don't need to have stuff hitting all the time for it to have a groove. Like keeping room is very, very crucial to lo-fi drum rhythm. There has to be space. The space is important. Things need to be able to breathe. Now we're going to get started on some hi-hats. Now, a thing about hi-hats, especially in a lot of lo-fi music, is you want them to be unquantized usually. Now, with me, I already have certain drum samples in my kits that are going to be slightly unquantized, and that's super helpful. There's ways to change this. Like if you didn't want it to be unquantized, you can click this start and kind of drag this over here, but you'll see this little part before the peak, right, of the waveform here. And that's what's going to give this a little like swing, a little bit of groove, and it's going to be a little off. If you hear like this one, see this one hits right on, but this hi-hat that we're going to be using today, the Castaway hat, does not have that. So it just gives that. In addition to that, you can also play with the swing knob over here and a bunch of other ways as well. You know, you can play your hi-hats in on a MIDI keyboard or something along those lines. But for me, we're not really going to worry so much about that because we already have a nice sounding hat that is already off. So I like playing with velocities as I go. I think playing with velocity is huge to getting that like live sounding stuff. And I think just like that, we kind of have a hi-hat pattern that I like. I'm going to use this open hat. We might not use this open hat. Let's see. Alright, let's just see. We can find a good spot for it. just at the end. Now, with a lot of lo-fi stuff, perks are super helpful to establishing a groove and just making some variation. So I have a bunch of lo-fi perks that I've made, and some of them have like different forms of delay and stuff like that on them, such as this. Like, it has a bit of a delay, and the reason for that is it's just a really good way when the delay is printed onto some of the perks, just to give a different groove that you normally wouldn't come up with. So some of my perks I print that on, and other ones you can just add it yourself. Now we're going to change this hold knob so we can have stuff play just as long as we want. We can do cool stuff like this and then affect the velocities. I have these kind of fading. That's just like a little perk just to create something slightly different, give it a different groove. And right there, we got some fire lo-fi drums. So I'm going to show you how I mix those. Let's get right into it. So first things first, start with your main snare. Boost the highs just slightly on it. Now the reason boosting the highs here works is because my snare sound already has the highs filtered out, so I can add back a little highs. Now if you notice, the big thing with a snare on this is you don't want the frequencies to be very high. Like, notice how there's nothing really at this blue knob. That's very important. If you want to make a lo-fi snare and you don't already have one, you can just take out the highs like this. It'll sound good. Now for this one, we don't have to worry about that. So we're just going to raise the highs a little bit because they're already filtered. And then we're just going to level these. I want to get them about similar. So you can just kind of check that here. They don't need to be exactly the same. They just need to be similar, which that's what they're at now. Level the kick in there. Now, unlike trap music, you don't really need the kicks to be super, super hard hitting. They can be if that's your style, but generally with my lo-fi, I try to go for less aggressive kick sounds. Now, throw the hi-hat in there. Kind of already got the hi-hat at the level I want. I'm just going to throw some reverb onto this open hat. And I might do the same on the perk. I'm definitely going to turn it down. I don't want it to be very heavy. Yeah, just like that. And then we're just going to push this down a bit. And just like that, we have something that sounds fire. So now let's get started in a bit of how I do my arrangement. And then also we got to add a couple different crucial sounds here that are super important to making your lo-fi tracks sound solid. So the first thing that I like to add, and my kids have this, is I like adding some vinyl. I have a couple different vinyl options. We're going to add this one here. And I would just take a vinyl. I just turn it down. Now, could you use RC20 to add this vinyl? Yes, but for me, I like using this. It's a little bit easier to control if it's a sample. I can play with the pitch a lot easier. I can EQ it a lot easier. There's just more control in my eyes with having that. Now, another thing that a lot of people put in lo-fi beats, me included, is different sounds. Now, I know Cymatics is a really fire free kit with tons of ambient noises, but my kits also happen to have like different rain sounds and stuff like that. And I'm going to go ahead and use one of those. We're just going to use this kind of rain sound here. And we're going to also route that to a mixer track. Turn it down quite a bit. I'm going to cut the lows as well. I'm going to turn that down. And now we're going to get started on the arrangement. I just like having those ambient sounds. It's what gives lo-fi a lot of emotion. We're just going to cut this, have a little 4-bar intro. I also like to have my rain sounds swell in. So what I'll do is I'll click this, create automation and just kind of have them swell. So in the intro, let the rain kind of build just to give it a nice little gradual vibe. And here come the drums. I might actually have this melody go for the first half. Yeah. We're gonna want this little dropper sound later, so I'm just gonna drag that in. So this is the first half here. And then I'm gonna cut the drums right there. Like this. And then have the Rhodes cut in. And I have this stutter dropper sound from one of my kits, and I like putting that in a lot of my lo-fi too. Letting stuff kind of cut in and out is very important, I think. It's just like makes the arrangement more interesting. So I try to always do stuff that just gives a lot of room for interesting arrangements. I think that's kind of huge to lo-fi. And just like that, and then I just duplicate this over again and make the outro drums. And I already know what I want to do is have everything but this double snare hit, I believe. Actually, I don't even want this, so we're just gonna cut that. But and then I just go here and I turn down the master volume automation, and just like that, we have a lo-fi track completed. We did the melody and we did the drums. Sounds fire. So if you guys enjoy, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and check out lositrecords.net. In addition to that, if you didn't know, I actually release lo-fi music pretty frequently on all major platforms. So if you look up Relax Vibes, that's the artist moniker that I release music under, both EPs, albums, singles, all instrumental music, and generally lo-fi and experimental types of music. So if you do enjoy that kind of stuff, make sure to check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in another video. Head on over to elizabethrecords.net if you'd like to support me. You can purchase VST expansion banks, drum kits, loop kits, and MIDI kits that'll level up your production there.